around the Excel part. Okay. So I'll be talking more on the Excel automation today and tomorrow. Both the sessions will be dedicated on Excel automations. So what kind of operations we normally come across in Excel? Can you help me to just note it down? Let me add, someone is waiting in the room. Akshay. What kind of operations we normally come across Excel automations? So we normally do a basic operations like read range, reading the Excel data. Okay. Read Excel data. It could be range, correct? It could be range or cell data. Then write to the Excel, write data to Excel. So there could be, again, depends the range of data we are writing, correct? Or to a cell. Then we have the options called as filter data table, correct? Filter Excel data. Then Excel as a database. There are so many concepts basically. Okay. Database, how we can use Excel as a database. Then filtering Excel data. Then we have lookup concept. Lookup in Excel data, correct? So this also one of the concept is there. Along with this, we have many other operations. Okay. But let us see what are the activities or actions in PAD, the Power Automate Desktop. So what are the actions? Excel actions, I would say. What are the Excel related actions in the PAD? So that we'll discuss now, and we'll understand how I can use those Excel actions for Excel automation. So without wasting the time, let us go ahead and create the workflow. Okay. So this is the very first one. I will make it as Power Automate. At the end of training, I will share this content with you people so that you can refer this for practice. Okay. So this is how we can create the very first desktop flow. So we started with Power Automate training. So it is getting opened. One beautiness of this particular tool is what you need not to worry about where to store the code. Okay. So storing the code it's quite easy in case of Power Automate. So the code is get stored on the cloud platform, right? With your user account. So this is one of the advantages of Power Automate. If you compare with uipath or any other tools, we need to store the code in a local machine, correct? And that is a dependency basically. So let's begin with Excel part. So for that, what I will do, I will first of all show you what are the actions we are having, right? Then we'll simply create the simple subflows and discuss on that. So if you go ahead and check out under the Excel part, right here, you can see Excel part is here. So if we expand that, we'll see the advanced activity as well as basic activities. Let us try to understand now basics of the Excel actions. So Excel comes up with the basic actions as well as advanced actions. There is no separate activities like in uipath workbook and Excel scope activities. No, we have single set of activities here, right? So we have very initially activities used for Excel automation is launch Excel and close Excel. Launch Excel is something we are going to open up the Excel instance, just like a browser launch, correct? Similarly, it's a launching an Excel means opening an Excel file, could be visible, it could be invisible. So that we can adjust. Okay. Let us go ahead and do it. So I will make it as an Excel. basics. Okay, I'm going to create a subflow. So this is empty flow. Let me take out the launch Excel. What this will ask, I will let you show you. So normally when you drag this particular activity, so it's supposed to come up in the middle and it will ask for some few elements or parameter values. It's taking time. So launch is simply opening the that particular Excel instance in a hidden format or maybe in a visible format. Then close Excel is for simply closing the that particular Excel. See, this is the launch Excel pop-up coming up. When you drag any activities, it normally pops up a window. You have to fill out all the required parameters and then it will click on save button. What it is asking? So it is asking launch Excel with a blank document. If you click on this drop down, you will see the two options here with a blank document or and open the following document. So this is what the advantage here. So we can start with the non-existing Excel file, means blank Excel file, or you can open up the existing Excel file. So both should work here. Then second property is make invisible, like instance visible or not visible. What this property says, how you are expecting, do you want to keep the Excel file open, visible, physical, like visible on the screen, or if you want to open the Excel in the background? So depends on our requirement. Normally I prefer to keep it as a invisible because we wanted to have a background automation and that is quite faster than the front end automations. So I normally keep it as in a invisible. So you won't see any operations happening on the Excel file, but all the operations will happening at the background. Okay. Then in advanced one, in advanced, so advanced is the property again. This property, it's simply, whether you want it as a new Excel or kind of old Excel. So basically this property also we normally keep it as a disable mode only. And at the output variable produced. So this is going to give me a variable called as Excel instance. Excel instance is required to be used for rest of the activities. Okay. So because this Excel instance defines the Excel property, which Excel you are processing basically. So we can provide a name to this one. I can make and change the name to this output variable. By default, output variable is getting created called as Excel instance. I made the changes and added input in the prefix that is called as input Excel instance. Okay. So once I do this, click on save button. Okay. It will take some couple of seconds and save the activity what you added. Okay. So here, as I said, we have two things here. One is launch a blank document or the open the existing Excel document. So two options are available. So we are going to blank as of now, just to show you. If you want to make it visible, that is also fine. Okay. Let me show you visible and close Excel. What is a close Excel? Simply it is used for closing that particular Excel what you opened up. So see the beautiness of this one Excel instance. So this is how, if you are using single in Excel file, then single instance will come up here by default. But if you let's say open multiple Excel file and processing on that, so it normally pops up you to select the Excel instance. Let's say two Excel files are open and we are wanted to process on that. So every Excel you opens up without opening the Excel file, it's not possible to process in uipath, sorry, Power Automate, except Excel as a database. So Excel you have to open up by any chance, by any means. Okay. So when you open the Excel, it will come up with it will produce a variable called as Excel instance. So we have to provide the unique name to that particular Excel instance. And here, while closing it, we have to provide Excel instance, which Excel you want to close. Okay. So assume there are two Excel files. One is input Excel file, another is output Excel file. And assume we have given the name input Excel instance and output Excel instance. Two outputs are there. So out of that, if you want to close input Excel, then we have to provide that particular instance over here. So that is what instance means. Okay. Then before closing Excel, what do you want to do? Do you want to save it or do you want to leave as it is? So options are coming up here. Do not save the document, save document, and third one is save document as. As this is a blank file, so it will always ask you uh, before closing, it will ask three options. Do not save document and save as document. What one you want? Suppose I want to make it as a save document. Okay, hit on save button. What will happen? It will launch a blank file and save it to the default location. Okay, let us go ahead and run this. Right click and run from here. If you want to run that particular single subflow, then you have to use this option, right click and run from here. There is no other provision available here. If you want to hit on run button, it will start running the main workflow. But if you want to run any particular subflow, then you can use, say it is going to launch the Excel file now in a visible format. Means in the background Excel file will get open and we are not doing any operations here. So basically simply open the Excel file and close it. Take some time initially and then fine, it will go ahead. Okay, let me check why it is taking time. Sometimes it takes uh it's comparatively slower than your, depends on machine configuration also. It will be little slower if it is having less configuration. If you have more high configuration laptop, then it will be faster. Let me stop it again. And okay, considerable, it's taking some time. Let me close this. Yeah. So again, if I want to start here, so click on start from here. It's supposed to start from that location where we clicking on right click. So click on that particular action and right click. Launch Excel and close Excel. Yeah, it's working. You can see Excel file got open at the background. You can see at the bottom. Okay. And it is going to save. Okay. But we are not doing any operations. See, this is the Excel file got opened and it's going to save. We don't do any operation on this one, correct? Yeah, it's closed. So I will show you operation on that one. Okay. So that Excel file got created. So instead of that one, what I will do, I will take up one example Excel file. Let me bring up one Excel file here and show you other operations, how we can do or how we can achieve using the Excel uh, actions in the Power Automate. Let me create a Excel file. Okay, see on the screen. Let's say input Excel and okay, still opening this one. This is fine. Let me open up this one only and also copy the Excel file path. Let's open up this and copy the Excel file path. Copy as a path, shift and right click. And in launch Excel, what we'll do is we'll change the operation here. With a blank document, we can make it as open a following document. When I do the second operation, so it will ask for the document path. So document path, you can provide like this. Don't use double quote, that is not necessary. And you can make it as invisible or we can keep it as visible also. It also comes up with read only mode as well. So these are the properties which are very self-explanatory. So we can easily understand that. So let me add some data here. Let's say name. So I'm just putting some data over here. Okay. Name and let's say city. Okay. So I will add a few names here. Let's say Akshay is here, joint taxation. So let's say he's from Baramati. Then Pradeep. Misal is here. He's from Akluz. So I'm just adding some random names. Okay. So so this data is available in which sheet? Sheet number 1. Okay. Some data is available. So how I can do a basic operations on that? Okay. File path already I have provided. And what I can do is let me show you kind of read from Excel worksheet. Okay. Read from Excel worksheet. So basically, first of all, as a best practice, we need to check out on which sheet this particular data is available. This is a sheet number 1. But if you take out read from Excel worksheet, it won't ask any sheet name. Whatever there in the default location means what I can say, very first location means what is let's say there are the 10 sheets in the Excel file and you wanted to process very first Excel file, then by default it will process very first sheet. But if you have any special requirement, we want to read a specific Excel sheet, then you need to take an activity called as set active Excel worksheet. Can you see this? Set active Excel worksheet is activities there. What this activity will do is it will set this particular automation to a specific sheet name. When we are going to use this concept, when you have the multiple sheets in the Excel, then we have to define this, which sheet you want to process. So right now I want to process sheet 1. Okay. So set active Excel worksheet we activity how to use to activate a certain worksheet. Okay. By default, it will pick up first. But when you have multiple sheets in an Excel, then probably we have to set or activate a certain Excel sheet. Understood this part? Set active Excel worksheet. And also while placing this, you might have observed it's asking Excel instance. Means for which Excel? So this Excel instance as of now, single Excel instance is there because we have only opened up single file. And also it gives a property called as activate workbook with. How you want to activate? Do you want to use name of the sheet or index? Okay. So assume there are the 10 sheets are available here. So either we can go with the sheet name or we can go with the index. How the index starts from the sheet here? Let's say sheet 2 is also available here. So this is a sheet 2. So index always start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. If you know exact index of the sheet, you can go with the index option here. If you know exact name of the sheet, then provide the name as well as select the name over here. Okay, I hope you understood. So before processing any Excel sheet, you have to activate it using the set active Excel sheet. What next? So I wanted to read the data from that. Okay, then bring up this here. Read from Excel. Again, try to understand what it is asking. It is asking Excel instance means which Excel file. Then retrieve what you want to retrieve. The value of a single cell. There are the options. We don't have activities like read cell, read range. Single activity, all the operations. Getting this point, guys? So in UiPath, we have two activities. What are these? Can anybody tell me? In UiPath, what are the activities are there to read the data from Excel?
Read range.
Yeah, we have read range as well as read cell is there. Okay. So here you won't see those two different activities in a single activity. Read from Excel means all thing comes up here itself. Read cell or read Excel data range. So here we have the option to switch between read cell as well as read range. What is that? Value of a single cell, values from a range of cell, values from selection, all available as from worksheet, and values of a named cells. So you can see different options are available here. The question arises, what you want to read? You want to read single cell data or entire data? Your answer is entire data. Then I recommend go with the all available values from the worksheet. Second last. If you want to read all the available data from the Excel, no need to provide any range over here specifically. All the data available Excel can be used like is can be you read. So here it is. Then we have an property Excel data means output variable automatically gets create here. So you can change the name if you want it. Understood, guys? So again, here these are again advanced properties. What the advanced properties? Whether the first line is header, that's a question mark. By default, it is in disable mode. So if you want to make it as a header, first line of the range contains column names, then we can make it as true. And also, whatever data coming up, do you want to take that as in a text format? Then we can make it as on here. Okay, because sometimes what happens, right? In Excel, we have different data types again. Text, integer, date time, all those things. So what is your requirement? Do you want to keep the data type as it is, or do you want to make them as a text? Then if you want to make them as a text, make it as on. If you want to read the data as it is, then leave it as it is. Okay. And all the data will be getting stored in Excel data. Let's go ahead and see this. What we did, launch and close is also there. Set active Excel sheet. This is just to indicate the bot which Excel sheet is we wanted to process, which Excel sheet you wanted to process. So that sheet name should come up here in the set active Excel workbook. So worksheet. Then read from Excel worksheet. So this is how you want to read the data. While reading the data, also we have the multiple operations. Like read cell is there, then reading the data from entire worksheet is there. Correct. So that we are doing. Then let's go ahead and run this. Whatever data is there in the Excel, which is going to store in a variable called as Excel data. So that is a data table. Let me close this Excel. Okay. Okay. So this is getting closed. Once it is closed, then we'll run it. Okay, done. So let me right click here. Where to right click? Not on the subflow, guys. We have to right click on the first activities and right click and select this. No, run from here. I'm going little slow, guys, just to make sure like everybody's getting, because few people are new here. They are total new for RPA. So definitely we'll pick up the speed once everybody is compatible. Okay. We were like here who already working on UiPath, they might be realizing this is little bit slower. Yes, the Power Automate is kind of slower than the UiPath. Uh, but yeah, depends on your system configuration, it will be faster or slower. Okay. So what we are doing as of now is we are is simply reading, launching the Excel file in the background. It's taking some time. Once it launches, then it will go for activating the seat, reading the data. Okay. And one extra advantage of Power Automate is what? The real-time data in an variables, whatever variables we are going to create. So there are thousands of variables are available. So need not to display this data. Okay. Normally in UiPath, we display the data. We wanted to ensure like data is coming or not. So here, if you see on the variable panel, so whatever that variable is having the data, it will come up here. So as of now, Excel data is a variable, right? Excel data is a variable. It's going to read the data from Excel. So you can say Excel data. Earlier it was 0 rows, 0 columns. Now you can see 3 rows and 2 columns. So this is the beauty of Power Automate, where you can see the real-time data in the variable. What data is it having? See this. Do you think do we have this feature in UiPath? Pradeep, Misa, Akshay, this feature is not available. Okay. So this is the next advantage of Power Automate, where you can see the real-time data in an variable. What data it's holding, so that we can see. This is how we can read the data from Excel. Okay. And here, this will get changed. If you want to change it to read sale or something, you can change it here directly. Read values from a single sale, from a range of sales, like that. Specific range you want to provide. So that things I think you can provide it here. Suppose I have a requirement, all available values from worksheet. This is one option. Okay. So suppose you have the requirement of, like, I want to know how many columns of data it's filled in an Excel. So in Excel, there could be chances, if you go with this option, right? Which option I'm talking about? All available values. So did you observe sometimes, even though Excel having the blank columns as well as blank rows, but the read range may give you that row as well. Even though data is not at all available, few data is available and few columns and rows are not having data, but it may be chances that that will come up in the data table when you read the data. So ideally, those columns or rows should not come up. Whatever rows and columns having data, those should come up in an output variable. But in some instance, what happens, even though data is not there in some columns as well as rows, so that will come up in a variable. Ideally, it should not. So how we can avoid that particular situation? So there is an activity called as get first free column or row from Excel sheet. Let me bring up here. What this activity will do, I will tell you. This particular activity or the action, what is the role of this particular action is, whatever sheet we wanted to read, okay, it will read it initially and get the details like what is the first column number, which is not having data, means end of the data. What is the first column and what is the first row, where the data is started empty. So before that, there could be 8 data. Are you getting this, guys? First free column and first free row. So in our case, in Excel file, let me open up. What is the first row? You can see, guys, name and seed, only 2 columns are there. So third column is empty and fourth row is empty. Okay, let me run it again and let's see what this particular first free column and first free row will come up. Just observe it. So this will gives me First free row means where the data is not there, where the data is empty. So that row number will come up. And as well as column related also same concept, where the column is empty. So this is simply identify end of the row and end of the column. Again, this kind of feature is not available in UiPath. Okay. So you might be thinking, Gajanan, so like where we can use this, like first free column and first row. As I'm giving the example, there could be one scenario where Excel is having data till let's say fifth column. But ideally, when you read it, it should show only five column. But sometimes what happens, because of some manipulation, no, when you are doing the deleting the data from Excel, uh, even though for human beings it will be like look like a empty. Okay, data is available till fifth column, but in the background there could be some empty data beyond fifth column as well. Okay, so there this particular action comes in picture where it will help us to identify till what column data is available, till what column row, sorry, till what row the data is available. So this is simply to identify column, sorry, sheet column where it is going to end the data, and as well as row number where the data is ending. So this is what the extra beauty of Power Automate activities. This kind of functionality is not available in UiPath. Okay. So if you see very carefully, guys, we got two output here. First free column and first free row. Okay, first free column and first free row. So basically rows start from zero. Like always it will be double than, so two times plus two basically. Okay, and first free column is third column. That is correct one only. If you observe this carefully, so the very first line is called as 1, Akshay is 2, Pradeep is 3, and Misal is 4, and fifth row is empty. So that's why the value is coming up as 5. Getting, guys? And what about the columns? We have only two columns, name column and city columns. So that's why third column is empty. Third column is empty and where fifth row is empty. Understood, guys? Any question on this one? I want to pause here and take some questions from you people. Please go ahead. Unmute yourself and let me know the questions.
For example, 10 rows and 10 columns.
Hmm.
Uh, fifth column or fourth row empty again will start. Some of the seventh row it started or
Okay, in
randomly.
between empty columns. In between
Ah,
empty columns, you are saying.
yes. So the bot how to will pick up the correct of the data.
No, in that case, always it comes up with the end of empty column. So end of the data means even though in between empty columns are there, it will not be, it will treat this as a having data.
Mhm.
So that's why the name here is first free column means where the data ends. That will be treated as a last column. Getting, guys? Even though this is a good question basically. So in between there are the empty columns are there. Let's say 10 columns are there. Out of that, two columns are empty, fifth and sixth. So what would be the answer for this one? Let me demonstrate to you. So if you would like to see that, I'm damn sure that is going to tell us like last column only. It will give us a last column. It will ignore the in between empty columns. Okay, it will not consider that basically. Let me show. Let this open up and same rule applies to the empty rows, guys. Same rule applies to empty rows. Okay, here we go. So let me add one column here. You know, um, kind of role I'm adding here. So let's say RPA developer. IT engineer. Okay, I'm just adding some extra columns for you. So you can see the columns is empty. Okay. So what will be the first free column will get out of that um, action output? So you should get column E, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 should be your answer. It will ignore in between empty columns. Getting, guys? Let me run this and show you. Right click, run from here. Okay, it is going to launch the application now. Done. So see the output. First free column. What's the output here? 5. Right? So even though column C, that is third column, is empty, but fourth column having data, right? So the intention of this one, this activity is what get the first free column where the data is not at all there beyond that column. Okay. And first free row means beyond the that row, there is no any data. Understood, Bhaskar?
Yes, perfect.
Good. Anybody having any question, guys, before moving to next action? Okay. Okay. Let's go and try with add new worksheet. Let me delete this first free row. It's fine. I think it's not doing anything. Reading is also not doing anything. Let's go ahead and do this part. Add new worksheet. Okay. So this is in uipath, you might be thinking, so there is no any provision to add a new worksheet. By default, if you go ahead and use a right range, guys, or right cell, and the sheet name which is not available, suppose you are providing a sheet 3 which is not available in input Excel, so automatically that particular sheet will get created. But in Power Automate, we need to exclusively we supposed to mention the name of sheet. Okay, first of all, we need to add that sheet. Okay, so what this operation is going to do is it's going to add a new X sheets to that particular Excel file. So Excel instance is here. Sheet name, let me put it as a test. And where you want to add? Do you want to add at the first location or at the last location? This is also interesting, right? Where you want to add? Let me add it at the beginning. Okay. So adding is done here. Do you want to write any data? So that provision is there. So you can write the data as well to that. So what I can do is let me bring up an activity called as uh, write activity is there. Do you think somewhere is write activity here? Launch is there. Get Excel. Write Excel. Write to Excel worksheet. Bring up this. Okay. So here you can see it is not at all asking which sheet. Do you think here sheet name is available? Not at all sheet name is available. Okay. How we can activate a sheet name? Using a set active Excel sheet. So don't remember to use this. By default, it won't pick up the required Excel sheet. When it comes up to, Excel is having multiple sheets, then you need to specifically mention using this action, which on which sheet you want to process. So here I want to process on test sheet, then you have to mention that sheet name here, guys. So this is what extra things you have to do. Otherwise, it will end up with the writing a data to first worksheet, whatever it is. Okay. So let me bring up again, write to Excel worksheet. So here it is asking Excel instance that is already getting write value to write. What you want to write? I want to write, let's say, Power Automate. So this text I want. Where you want to write? Writing mode depends. Do you want to write to to a specific cell or currently active cell? Means where you want to write, from where you want to write. What is the cell number from where you want to start? So here I can provide simply numbers, column and row, first row and first column. Simple. Numbers I can provide here. First row and first column. What we are writing? Power automate. Okay. Let me click on save. Okay. And at the end, we are also saving the document with the save activities. So let's see how it will work. What we did, guys, we learned two activities. One is adding a new sheet as well as writing a data to that particular sheet. So let's see. This sheet is not available. It's supposed to create and then write it to the, sorry, then write the data to that Excel. Let me run this again. So in your system, guys, it will be quite faster. Uh, with the, as I said already, depends on the configuration of your laptop. The speed will be decided. So for launching, it is taking some time. Once it launches, then it will do all regular actions what we added, and also it will add new sheet. In the same sheet, we are writing the data. Done. Okay. But like as this is invisible format, we can't see what exactly happened to that. So we can go ahead and check it. Let's open this file. Okay. Meanwhile, opening, I'm just going to write here set Excel or activate Excel sheet. This activity we've seen. Add new Excel sheet, right? This one we've seen. Then get free row as well as column action. That this one also we have seen. Okay. Let this Excel open. See, data is there in sheet one. We bot has created a test as a separate sheet, and we have added a data in a first row, first column. Understood, guys? We can write range of data as well, but we need to indicate first sale from where we have to write. This is the first sale from where we are writing. Okay, first row, first column. What you want to write depends. You want to write single data, you want to write range of data. Okay. Suppose I want to write range of data, then bring up that variable here. What the variable is having? Excel data, correct? So this will automatically adjust. No need to change the data type here. So basically, if you use write cell and write range, both having different data types. Write cell requires string, and write range requires Excel data table. So here in this write to Excel worksheet, it will automatically adjust the data type. So either you can write single data, you can write a tabular data. Let me show you like quickly how it looks like. Okay, let me close this. So this particular data supposed to copy and put it in a new Excel, what I'm going to create it. Okay, let me close this and run the bot again. I hope you're syncing with me. So how you're feeling, guys? Just observing, like for new people, it's fine. For those who are having uipath knowledge, how we are thinking this. Is it interesting or is it similar, complicated? It's completed. Take some time to open up. So after this, I will show you how to loop the data. Okay, let this open up. Okay, see here, it has taken, copied whatever data was there in this one. Okay, it has taken and written here. Getting guys? So it is taking out the data from that sheet one and pasting it here. That we did here. Basically, that is what the expected thing what we did. Okay. And one more trick to just wanted to tell you for everybody. Suppose you want to know the details of this activity. Suppose this is the Excel, we can easily understand. For any other activities, if you want to see the documentation on this one, there is an option at the top, more info. Getting guys? You want to learn this activity in detail, then click on this more info. You will be navigated to a website from the Microsoft Power Automate. So there you will see the details of this particular activity. Getting guys? So you want to learn uh, Excel detail or this activity detail, go to click on this more info. Okay. Any questions so far, guys? Okay. I will take it as a no. We have other activities as well, like get column name on Excel sheet. So you want to take out any column name. So what details it is going to ask? So it is going to ask you a column index. Okay. Which column, what is the column name you want to know? Then provide the index. So this is an extra activity. Save Excel file. It is simply to save whatever operations we are doing. We can use it, or you can use in a close Excel itself. We have property save document. Okay, but in between you want to save the document, so like a save workbook, it's a save Excel. Getting guys? Get active cell on worksheet means whichever is, let's say active means I am clicking on this engineer. This is the active cell. What is this? D3. Okay, so get active cell is the thing, but it is going to give us a cell number which is active as of now, means where the mouse is clicked. So this is the meaning of that one. Attach running Excel file. This is like a attach browser. Attach running Excel file means uh, like you wanted to do operation throughout your entire bot. So launching you can do in the beginning, guys. So launching you can do in the beginning, and you can do the operations here and there using attached to running Excel file. So you can use this activity here. So basically this will help us to uh, take the running Excel document. So what document name? So as of now, this is input excel.xlss. The running Excel is this one. Okay. So that's why it has taken the document name. So simply you can create Excel instance like this. If the Excel is already open in the background, it will take up the title of that or name of that particular Excel and give us to utilize it. Getting guys? Attached to running Excel file is nothing but, so need not to open the Excel file. It's already opened and you wanted to process it, then use this activity. That's it here in the basic activities of the Excel, guys. One thing I would like to show, that is a looping. So probably looping extra you might have seen. correct? So Sunil might have explained this. So we'll just continuing the same part. So we have here activities called as for each activity is there. Okay. Or for loops are not each. This there for each activity is there. So this will be common for any looping. This is common for every loop, any looping. So in UiPath we have different for each activities for different operations. But here it comes up with the single operation. Oh, sorry, single activity with all the operations. So I'm taking out at the end and value to iterate. What you want to iterate? I want to iterate Excel data, right? So take out that Excel data. And this will be automatically getting stored in a current item one by one. So one by one row data will be stored in this particular variable. Okay, guys. So current item that is going to iterate one by one row from this Excel data. Let me show you how I can access the data. So what we can do is we will use a display message activity. Okay. Let me bring up here. So which variable holding the row data? Current atom, right? This is the title. No need to worry. We can use a bigger box. So my data is available under in current atom, right? Data row. See the by default automatically data type will get changed. So this is what extra feature of Power Automate. Then how I can get this current atom is nothing but entire row data is available. But from that I want to extract only first data, last data like that. So I have to provide the index like this. So current atom bracket 0 means one by one rows are getting iterated. Out of that, what information I want is first column. Okay. Current atom is indicating one entire row and we wanted to extract the data of first column. Then we have to provide the index. Let's see how it will looks like one by one data. Let me run it again and close this. Okay, I think this particular sheet is already there. So it is giving us an error. Mm, let me add a terminate process as well because it will end up with error again. So terminate is nothing but kill process, killing out any active process. So this will come up as an Excel here and save it. So basically this will close the background Excel activities or Excel instance. Let me create, I shall delete these activities or maybe disable. How to disable the activities, guys? Right click, disable. So in UiPath we have control D, deactivities there. Here is a disable. Okay. And also I'm going to disable these two activities because we are not going to use them. So only what my target is read the data and iterate it. So that is what the target. Okay. Let me begin from here again. Terminate process means closing the application which is running in the background. Okay. Started, guys. Closing Excel. You can see it's supposed to start display the data. Okay. See, it is giving me Akshay first. We have given zero index, right? So first column basically. Zero index means first column. And next one is supposed to miss as a misser. Understood how to loop the data? So simply if you want to change the column, we can come here and change the column. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, we can provide it. But always column index start from 0. And this particular current atom is holding the entire row data. One row data. You can see the variable here, where it is. Current row. See, current atom. If you double click on that, It is holding the data like this in an array. Misal, a closed column one is C is empty and role is engineer. So one by one row data will be stored in this current atom variable, and out of that you can provide the index and get the data as required, like this. Current atom in bracket index. Okay, any question, guys? New joiners, any questions? So so far we covered all the basics of Excel automation, guys. So we have advanced activities like Excel as a database, filter, Excel data, right? So those things will be discussed again in tomorrow's session. So today I will be closing here itself.